see you guys joining now. Okay, so we'll start again. So coming into a comfortable seated position, making sure that you've got your props around you, and we're just going to loosen off the shoulders and give the head a couple of rotations around just to ease off any tension in the neck and shoulders. And then taking a scan from the top of the head all the way down the body. Notice if you're holding on in any way and bring softness into those areas. Softening the forehead, eyes, lips, teeth, jaw, shoulders, belly. Let that tension drip from the top of your head all the way down the body into the ground. And just having a little move back and forward and side to side, really gently to find your centre. And as you come into your natural centre, feel the energy drawing down the body, going down the spine, through the sit bones into the ground. Closing your eyes or softening your gaze down to the floor. You may find that at this stage it's quite difficult for you to let go of any of the stresses of the last few minutes or the day, or maybe things from long before now, maybe even projecting into the future. And so tonight we're going to focus on trying to keep you in the moment. And the best way to do that and find the relief that comes with just being present, we're going to use your breath. So start to notice your breath now. Noticing the natural quality of your breath, hopefully slowed down a little. Notice how easy or difficult it feels to breathe in this moment. Does your breath get stuck in a certain area? Just noticing for now. Noticing if it might be more easy or difficult to inhale rather than exhale, or vice versa. I often talk about your breath being that constant companion, like your best friend, with you from the moment you indeed take your first breath and you arrive here until you leave when you take your last breath. With you constantly. Not just signifying that you might feel threatened, or indeed that you feel peaceful through the quality, but you can also use your breath to be there for you, sending messages to your nervous system, which controls your body, to either spring you into action, to give you that support that you need, blood rushing to your veins, heart beating faster. The breath can all help. But for tonight, we're going to use the breath as that soothing best friend, the one that you can always rely on to make you feel better. often those, what I like to call angels, they just sit in the background waiting for you to be ready to accept their unconditional love, kind words, maybe a hug, hopefully. More of those hugs soon. And sometimes when we're caught up in all the negativity and the stress, we can forget that those angels are there. And this is just like your breath. When we get stressed, we forget to breathe. So we're going to use the practice tonight to breathe. We're going to keep coming back. Every time your attention wanders, you're going to come back and pay some attention to your best friend, your constant companion. You can be with your breath in any way that you like tonight, whether that's inhaling through the nose, then through the mouth, or both through the nose. Whether you want to count in order to stay with your breath. Maybe you want to take each exhalation as a nice sigh of relief as you feel that tension melting away. Anything at all, as long as you're focused on the breath. Another way of being with the breath is to notice when you're not breathing. Those slight pauses at the top of the breath when the lungs are full. And then noticing that sense of release as you exhale, going all the way to the bottom of the breath. And then there's another moment of stillness where you're neither breathing in nor out. Notice that sense of being filled up, of enjoying how it feels after that moment of stillness to then breathe in again. A slight pause at the top and exhale. Taking another 3 breaths here. Gently blinking your eyes open. And from here, we're going to work to release the body from the top down. So just bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width distance. And we're going to gently press up to standing. Nice and gently. Straighten up the legs first of all. And then coming all the way up. Reach the arms overhead. And then from here, we're going to fall back down, softening the knees. Take hold of the wrists, forearms or elbows. And come into your forward fold for just a moment. And then from here, we're going to go round to the left and to the right. Starting to feel that gentle stretch into the sides of the body. And if you like, you can start to release the arms now and maybe just let them move across the floor. Keep a nice bend in the knees. Maybe going a little further round. Maybe give the head a little move side to side. Come back into your breath whilst you get used to these movements. And then we're going to go over to the left. Stay at the left. And then we're going to use that right shoulder to lift up, coming all the way up to the top, and then lead with the right shoulder as you go down, folding once again, going over to the left, lifting up through that right shoulder, coming back to the top, leading with the right shoulder as you go down. We're just going to do that one more time. So just working with the spine, shoulders and the hips, leading with right, going down, go over to the left and then come back over to the right. Keep breathing, and we're going to lift up through left shoulder this time, lead with the left shoulder, continue to lead with the left shoulder as you go down, going around to the right, lead with the left shoulder, going round, down, lead with the left, come round, keep breathing. And then we're going to come back to centre. Take your feet a little bit wider, the toes pointing out, and then taking at least 2 blocks or books or whatever you're using. Maybe an additional cushion if you're particularly tight in the hips. So I want this to be a super comfortable supported squat. And we're going to sit down so that this squat position is really comfortable for you. Take a moment here, just moving the shoulders side to side. And then from here, we're going to bring those elbows inside the knees, or just resting them above the knees there, bringing the hands into prayer position, the thumbs resting against the sternum. And if you like, you can drop your chin towards your chest. Closing your eyes and come back into your breath. While focusing on your breath, it may be possible for you to notice how that energy is flowing through your body after that gentle movement. Maybe we've disrupted some tension in the shoulders, in the spine, maybe in the belly. Keep your focus inside. Be with your breath. Anytime you get distracted, notice that happened, and without judgment, just bring your attention back to your breath. Allow yourself to notice any physical sensations, and then come back to your breath as you let them go. As we settle in here, noticing whether it's getting any easier for you to stay with the breath, or whether your mind is still busy. That's okay. Just notice that the mind's busy and come back to your breath. Just you and your breath. breaths here. And then you've taken that third breath. Release the hands. Reach in for your blanket or a cushion. And then from here, fold your blanket over a few times or just roll it up like I have. And then we're going to press through the feet, keeping the feet just a little bit wider than hip width distance, and bring your blanket just into your hip crease here. Keep it there, and then fold yourself forward. And as you fold down, you'll notice that you don't need to hold the blanket anymore. And then from here, we're going to take hold of those forearms or elbows and come into this supported forward fold. Give the head a little move side to side, nod, relax the neck, feel the weight of the head and reach those elbows and forearms towards the floor, keeping a bend in the knees. If you feel too much of a stretch in the back of the legs, just bend those knees a bit more. If it feels better for you to bring the hands onto the floor, then do so. But just check that you're not pressing into the ground. Just allow the hands to lightly skim the floor. Let the weight come through your arms and through your head. And if you're slightly rocking around here, that's okay. Just find your natural center. And come back into your breath. Relax the face. Check that the neck is relaxed. And if you start to notice the fronts of the thighs becoming uncomfortable, then maybe straighten those knees up a little more. And if the backs of the legs start to become uncomfortable, bring a bit more of a bend into the knees. Feel the body becoming heavier. Stay with your breath. Stay in here for another 3 breaths. And when you've taken those 3, come up slightly just so that you can release your blanket. Take your blanket to the side, and we're going to remove either one block or a cushion and a block, maybe even both blocks. See how you feel when you go back down into your squat. Take a moment here just to allow the blood to settle back down. It may be that you want to work a little deeper here. As long as that's comfortable, removing anything that's underneath your seat there and coming back into your squat. Once again, if you need to move a little bit side to side, forward and back, just to rest back into your squat here, then do so. And bringing those elbows back inside the knees, the hands in prayer position. Just using this pose to transition to the next one, taking another 3 breaths here. From here, just taking your hands behind, use the hands to balance yourself as you sit down, and then we're going to bring the feet forward so that you've got a round about sort of a 70-degree bend here in the knees, maybe a bit more if you need, and we're going to bring the elbows around the knees, round the back, bring the chin to the chest. And we're going to sit here. If you need to lift the feet slightly, that's okay. Feel the back round, the shoulder blades separate. Chin to chest. And come back to breath. As soon as your mind wanders away from your breath, notice that happened and come back. Remember, you can count the breath if that feels okay for you, if that helps keep you focused on the present, on each breath as it comes and goes. Count to 5 or 6 as you inhale, and the same on the exhalation. I'm going to take another 5 breaths here. And when you've taken those 5, slowly bring yourself back up. So we're going to start to work with tension in the outer hips now. So let's just see how they are. Bring your hands behind, and we're just going to let those knees fall out to the left. Go as far as you feel comfortable, and then use the hips and the knees to bring them back up to centre, going over to the other side. Come back into centre. Maybe turn your chest to face the opposite way to your knees. Back into centre and back over to the other side. Chest going in the opposite direction to the knees. Just one more time, both sides. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this where I am. You might need to bring yourself around to the side of your mat. So we're going to go into this position, but we're going to be along the mat. So we've got the foot next to the knee and this foot tucked around. And then from here, we're then going to bring your ramp in front of you. Oh, better watch for all these candles. So bring in your ramp of your pillows, maybe your blocks. You're going to recline over this ramp. So we've got the knees in this position, and then we're going to turn to your front knee and we're going to recline over your ramp here. Bringing the chest onto your ramp, hugging onto the ramp, and then just turn your head whichever way feels good for you. And settle in here. So a nice stretch over that hip that's on the ground. Your heart pressing against your ramp here. Come back to breath. So tonight, no complicated visualizations. We're just going to let the postures and the props and gravity do the work on releasing the physical tension, while you do the work of staying present, using your breath. As we create maximum comfort, it means that you have no other job to do. And I know it might be a tough one. The only requirement here is to let go and breathe. 3 more breaths on this side. From here, gently walk yourself back up using the hands. And your options here are to turn all the way around to the other side, swap in the knees, and then bring your chest back onto your ramp here. Take it easy, moving from one side to the other can be quite tough. You also have the option to come up onto all fours and then take the knees over to the other side. So you choose what's right for you. Coming down onto your ramp, and we're going to do the other side. So this time the other hip is on the floor, enjoying that stretch through the outer hip, and the heart pressing against your ramp here, hooking on to your props. Come back into the breath. Notice here, if you're holding yourself up by pressing those hands into the ground, hook onto your props and then let go a bit deeper. Noticing if you're holding on to any tension in the face, chin, jaw, just let it all relax. And be with your breath. Thoughts return about all those things that you've got to do, really important things as well. Just let them go and come back to your breath. Five more here. You've taken those 5. Bring your hands back onto the mat. Press yourself up. And then from here, just bring your props out to the side, out of the way. We won't need them for this next pose. So coming to lie down on your front. Okay, so we're going to bring your right shoulder on the ground and bring the arm out to the side here, and then from here reach your other arm over so that you're facing the ground. So we've got right arm crossed underneath, left arm crossed on top, and then if you like here you can bend your left arm and rest your head on the left arm. And from here, I'm going to take the right knee out to the side, coming into a half frog pose on this side. So the arm that's crossed underneath and sticking out to the side, you're going to take that same side leg, I'm demonstrating on the right side, taking it out to the side and bringing the ankle in the same line as the knee. And those who want a deeper release through that right shoulder, tuck the left toes, push yourself forward as you come up a little higher onto that right shoulder, and then settle back down. Coming back to your breath. Taking another 5 breaths here. From here, lifting the head up, leaning into your left arm as you bring the right arm underneath, bringing your right leg into center, and then from here we're going to bring the left arm underneath, right arm on top, crossing your right arm in front, and then we're going to take the left knee out to the side, the foot in line, the knee. And if you want something a little more here, you can tuck those right toes and push yourself forward so you come a little higher onto that left shoulder, and resting yourself down here. Coming back into your breath. Allowing that release of tension through the outside of the left shoulder into left hip. And breathe. pressing into your right arm, just so that you can release the left arm out to the side. Cross left arm on top of right and bring your left leg back into centre. Just taking a moment here. And then from here, walk yourself back up onto the knees. And we've got a couple of options for your next pose. So, you can either stay on the ground. We're going to stay on the ground. You can either stay on your mat away from the wall and bring a block and then a cushion just to create some height before you then sit on the cushion and the block. Have your strap nearby, whatever you use for your strap. And then we're going to bind the legs together here and just tie a knot, or if you've got your loop ready, then that's fine. Those who are using something other than a strap, just tie a knot in. So there's a little bit of give there in the legs, but not too much. So option away from the wall is here, and we recline back, just walking back, making sure that your sacrum stays on the block or whatever you're using, coming down, and then we're going to lift up into Viparita Karani, where we have those legs bound. So this is just a different variation than I've given you previously, because there's often a tendency for those legs to come out to the side, and so we're just going to use the strap there. If you haven't got a strap, it's fine. You can bring a little bend into the knees, and then just release. Let those legs fall towards you. Those of you who have a wall, basically doing this with the feet resting against the wall. Super simple. So I'll show you against the wall. So bringing your cushion up against the wall, and then we bring the bum to the side of the wall before swiveling round, taking those legs up against the wall and shuffling the bum towards the wall, finding a bit of support for your lower back there as you rest the legs against the wall and come into this position. And coming back into your breath. Feel the tension dripping down from the toes, tops of the feet, ankles, shins, calves, knees, thighs, into the hips, going down into the ground. Come back into your breath. No other job to do here other than to relax the muscles. Let the body become heavy, be supported, and breathe. Just breathe. If at any point this becomes too uncomfortable to the point of distraction, just bend the knees and hug them towards your chest. Your only job here to breathe. This pose is particularly important in restorative yoga, inverting the whole idea that action is productive. As we invert the legs, we're inverting the whole idea that actually when inactive, we might be even more productive. Productive in resetting, healing, those with an overactive mind an anxious disposition, like the body's having to work hard all the time, leading very active lives, having an active job, active hobbies. It's so important that you take time to balance out all of that energy expending activity and add some back in through practices such as this, such as your restorative yoga and quietening of the mind, soothing the nervous system, settling the body down and allowing a release of congested physical tension, emotional tension, and clearing energetic blockages. Rest is essential. Let's take 5 more breaths in your Viparita Karani. Taking your 5th breath, gently bend the knees, bring the knees down onto the chest, take a moment here, maybe hugging those knees, slowly, gently release your strap out to the side, and then come over onto whichever side feels natural, and just take a moment there. Option here for your final resting pose. You can go into a traditional shavasana, laid on the mat, covered in your blanket with props. Those of you who have a wall, I invite you to bring yourself onto a block or a cushion with your back resting against the wall. You might wish to do this even if you're not at the wall. And coming into your seated meditation position with the back resting against the wall. The head resting against the wall. So your choice here, either laid down in a more traditional shavasana against the wall as I demonstrated there, once again, the only job to focus on the breath, to be with your breath. Only the breath. which ends, and then we start again. Everything gone on the exhale. Slight pause, start afresh, inhale, we get to begin again. And it ends, exhale. I'm going to slowly start to come back now. Start to notice sounds outside the room. Bringing your attention to sounds inside the room. Inside your body. Noticing the room that you're in, the four walls, the ceiling, the floor, and your body relaxed, either seated or lying on the floor. See your body there and start to bring some movement back at the extremities, so the fingers, the toes, top of the head. As you move up the body, give everything a little bit of a shake, nice and gently. Wherever you are, it might feel nice to stretch those arms out overhead. Bringing the knees up towards the chest, wherever you are. And if you're not at seated, making your way up to seated. Bringing the hands together into prayer position. And gently bowing your head down towards your heart. In these moments of stillness is you. And if there's a discomfort with that silence, then this is the kind of practice that you probably need more in your life. Because that probably represents a discomfort with you. And that's probably the case for all of us. Before you start thinking that there's something particularly wrong with you, we can never love ourselves enough. We can never spend enough time looking for what is right with us, what's going well, looking after ourselves, nourishing ourselves. This all forms part of that self-love. And as you do more of these activities, maybe the difficulty in being with yourself will reduce. You'll start to find those moments of bliss as each moment comes and goes with your breath. Use your breath, your best friend, to help you find that peace. And so before we close, taking a moment to express gratitude for your ability to recognize the power of your breath. Be grateful for your breath. It's why you're here. I'm aware this might have been a difficult practice for some tonight. And so to remind you that you're not alone in this struggle, we all feel what everyone else is feeling. We all go through these things in our own way. You're not alone. So let's take a breath together to unite us before we leave. Inhaling. And exhaling. Gently blinking your eyes open. Well done for tonight. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Okay guys, I can't see you, but well done. And apologies for the issues at the beginning. I hope it wasn't too disruptive. And I hope you feel refreshed, that you've had some energy added back in. And certainly spending time with yourself will never do you any harm. So take care, I hope you sleep well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.